We are back and we're talking about the Cypress, we're talking about aging, we're talking about home health, all kinds of really fun things. One of the things that we mentioned in the previous segment was obituaries. And I was saying that my dad is writing his. Do you help us when someone passes away or before, if we're coming in to make plans, do you give us a to-do
template?
list?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's a good word. Yeah.
We were just talking a little bit, in the break about as people come into the Cypress,
right,
and they have an agenda. They're going to simplify things. They're going to get their life in order, even though they're probably the most orderly people ever.
Exactly.
But they still don't feel like they're complete. So the same people that come here are the same ones that call me and say, hey, I want to talk to you about my funeral arrangements. And I usually will come here or to their house or wherever they are. They don't have to come to my funeral home, but if they want to, they certainly can.
Because it's very festive in there.
Wow. I don't.
It's beautiful.
I appreciate
it really
it.
is. It's a very celebratory kind of place.
Thank you. Well,
I mean, it's light and their natural light's gorgeous. Have you been over?
Which one is it? I'm sorry.
On Arrow Road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really, really pretty.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We really don't want anything to be gloomy.
No.
And anymore, you see people really coming in, like we were talking about, doing the pre-arrangement. And as far as the obituaries go, I always caution them about the money. Most of the times these people, they might have a lot of money in the bank, but they don't think they do, and they're frugal.
That's right.
I tell people all over and over again, if you spend a bunch of money on a funeral, you're mad at your money, you're mad at your kids. I say that all the time.
Interesting.
So when people come in, if if they bring in 2 or 3 single-spaced sheets, and I say, well, that's nice, but it's going to cost you $1,000.
I never even thought about it costing money.
I didn't either. I didn't realize.
I didn't know
the
that.
best thing to do is put it on. I can put it on my website in its entirety for free, and then you just put in a condensed version for the paper.
And then you can get to the links.
Yeah, you just go right in.
Yeah.
You just do that. So, you don't have to listen. You don't have to say that, during the great eclipse, Mom passed into the, you don't, that's just a little bit over the top. But some people will think that way. And you'll get people that are natural writers and they think that they should really write things because they can. But you want to keep it simple and concise.
What is your recommendation if like your mom and dad live down here, or my parents live down here, but they're from a different area? Do you recommend, again, they just stick to perhaps your website, which I'd never even thought about, which is brilliant, but then do you also say, go ahead and put it in this paper and this paper?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. A lot of times we'll put it in 2 or 3 different papers, but if you're going to have the service here, if this is the big turnout, this is where you've lived for 20 years, but you lived in Columbus, Ohio for 20 years.
Right.
Put it in the Columbus paper, but put in a smaller version. You don't have to name all the kids. Just say, 5 grandkids.
Right. Do you do that for them?
I do.
Oh, see.
He's a writer too.
That's good to know.
I do.
But I mean, I didn't
A lot of
realize
papers
that.
won't take an obituary from an individual. They have to come through a funeral home.
Oh, okay.
It's because,
I
if
didn't
you
know
can
that.
imagine, practical jokes. That's the main reason.
Well, we would probably do
Yeah, I
that.
didn't
I mean,
think of that.
I didn't think about that.
there's bad taste, and then
there are some strange people out there, but a lot of funeral homes or a lot of newspapers will only take from a funeral home.
What are some of the other things we wouldn't even know that you did that you do? Does that make sense?
Yeah, he does a lot.
Well, we're doing a really big funeral. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier in Columbia on Sunday, and we've arranged videotaping, audio and visual people to help, fancy prayer cards, just stuff that the family wanted it nice, but they didn't really want to
Have to
do the detail
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And it's a destination funeral because nobody lives in Columbia.
Good grief.
So everyone's going up there because it's at the University of South Carolina, and that's where this gentleman played football. And it's really, it's going to be spectacular, but there's so many little details that you don't think about. You don't think about parking. You don't think about seating charts, which we actually have to have here, or reserved parking, or getting in touch. For instance, we had to get in touch with the university police so that they didn't ticket these cars that are illegally parked because there's no
think
parking.
about everything, don't you?
Look at
Well, you
where
really
I know.
do.
Where
Like
I
an
know.
event manager.
I remember when my mom passed away, and we were given sort of a list of all the things that you need to do, and it was so by the funeral home, and that was so helpful. I think they give you something like 13 or 15 considered original death certificates.
Well,
because
you can
have
get as
to-
many as you
Right.
want. In South Carolina, the first one's $12, and then they're $3 after that. So
Wow.
if you need a few extra at $3, it really isn't too bad.
Well, we got to take a quick break, and we'll be coming back. But next time you're on, we got real questions.
I got you.
now. Yeah, we're on a roll.
We've opened the door.
We've opened the door.
Yes, you have.
His job description changed.
Exactly, Pandora's box.
Pandora's
Stay
box.
with us. Right, we'll be right back.